Okay, let's really dive in. Today we're embarking on a deep dive into one of the most monumental and, well, beloved stories ever translated from page to screen. The Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring, the 2001 film.
An absolute classic. Hard to believe it's been that long.
It really is. And you might feel like you know this epic tale inside and out. Perhaps you've seen it countless times. You know every line, every character's journey. I mean, many of us do.
Oh, for sure. It has that kind of rewatchability.
Exactly. But our sources today allow us to create a truly elaborate narrative, focusing specifically on this foundational first cinematic chapter. We're not just recounting the events, we'll be tracing the extraordinary journey of a small hobbit burdened with an immense world-altering task and the forging of an improbable alliance against an ancient, pervasive evil that threatens, well, all life.
And it really is about that forging, isn't it? The fellowship.
Absolutely. Our mission, to peel back the layers and extract the most profound nuggets of knowledge and insight from this foundational tale, revealing the intricate artistry of its plot and the timeless themes woven throughout. Get ready for some fresh perspectives and maybe even some aha moments, even if you've seen the movie a dozen times.
I think even hardcore fans might find some new angles here.
We're going to understand not just what happened, but the why behind its cinematic choices and the deep implications of every twist and turn on this incredible journey.
It's truly fascinating how this film, right from the get-go, it plunges us into this deep ancient history, even before we're properly introduced to our main characters or set foot in the gentle rolling hills of the Shire.
Yeah, that prologue is powerful.
It really is. The opening prologue, narrated by the wise and ethereal voice of Galadriel, is far more than just convenient exposition. It's a masterful piece of visual storytelling, a vital backstory that instantly establishes the immense weight and existential danger of the central artifact,
Yeah.
the One Ring,
Sets the stakes immediately.
instantly. From those very first moments, we're shown the Dark Lord Sauron, depicted with brutal, crushing power, forging this ring with a singular, terrifying purpose: to exert dominion over all other rings of power and ultimately to conquer and enslave all of Middle-earth.
It's not just a magic ring, it's a weapon.
Precisely. It's not just an evil object that causes trouble, it's a tool designed for absolute, ultimate subjugation, a weapon meant to bend all free wills to its own. The implications of this origin are profound. This ring was created as an instrument of total control, a physical manifestation of Sauron's unyielding desire for absolute power, designed to corrupt and dominate.
So from the moment it's made, it's infused with that purpose.
Exactly. Think about that. From its very inception, it's infused with that singular, malevolent intent. How does this foundational purpose, this inherent nature of the ring as a tool of dominion, subtly foreshadow its effects on every single person who encounters it later? It doesn't just tempt, it exploits, it twists, it promises power, and delivers only servitude, reflecting the very essence of its creator.
And here's where the true horror of the ring, as presented in our sources, truly becomes evident. Even after Sauron's physical form is vanquished in that monumental Last Alliance battle, the ring doesn't simply become inert or disappear.
Right, it survives him. Physically, at least.
The film vividly shows us it was taken by Isildur, a key figure in the history of men, someone who actually had the chance to destroy it then and there, at the cracks of doom.
The ultimate missed opportunity. Haunting.
But then in a chilling sequence, a crucial detail emerges that elevates the ring beyond a mere magical artifact. It betrayed him.
That's such a key word there, betrayed.
It didn't just slip off his finger accidentally during an ambush. The cinematic portrayal, the way it subtly slides from his grasp in the river, suggests an active, malevolent will. It purposefully worked against its possessor, deliberately slipping away at the most perilous moment, leading directly to Isildur's demise.
It's chilling. It has agency.
So what does this tell us about our understanding of the ring? It's not a passive piece of enchanted jewelry. It possesses a terrifying sentience, an active, malevolent intent, and an inherent manipulative power that operates with cunning.
It's almost like a character in itself.
Absolutely. This betrayal, right at the dawn of the Third Age actually, highlights its inherent danger and manipulative power from the very beginning, setting a precedent for its future actions. It's a dark, living entity, always seeking to return to its master, or to find a new, unwitting host to further its purpose of world domination.
Which leads to its long journey through darkness.
This sets up the centuries of its being lost, lurking in the shadows of history, only to be found by the twisted creature Gollum, who possessed it for hundreds of years, grotesquely mutated by its influence. That transformation alone tells you so much.
Oh, definitely. A visual representation of its corrupting power over time.
And then, in a stroke of what seems like pure chance, although maybe it wasn't chance at all.
Gandalf might argue it wasn't chance.
Right. It falls into the hands of a seemingly innocuous, peace-loving hobbit named Bilbo Baggins. Think about the incredible sweep of history, conveyed in just these few moments, tracing the ring's journey from the fires of Mount Doom to the hands of mighty kings, through the dark depths of caverns, and finally right to the peaceful, unsuspecting, and utterly vulnerable Shire.
It's a testament to the ring's enduring, insidious power that it survives through ages, always finding its way back towards its ultimate destructive goal, drawing closer and closer to its destined purpose. It's patient.
Patient and purposeful. Which brings us to the Shire. The narrative truly begins to unfurl in the idyllic, wonderfully unsuspecting land of the Shire, a place defined by comfort, simple pleasures, and predictable routine.
Such a contrast to that dark prologue. It's deliberate, setting up what's at stake.
It is such a stark, almost jarring contrast to the epic, ancient, and bloody history we've just witnessed. We first join Bilbo Baggins as he celebrates his 111th birthday, his 111st, an event initially portrayed with such jovial merriment, replete with colorful fireworks and boisterous hobbit feasting.
A perfect picture of hobbit life. Peaceful, maybe a little complacent.
But beneath this surface of celebration, there's a quiet, almost whimsical moment that becomes the first pivotal transfer of the ring's immense burden. Bilbo, displaying a quirky eccentricity that subtly hints at the ring's long-held, gnawing influence.
That feeling of being stretched thin.
Exactly. He uses the ring to disappear in a puff of smoke, publicly astonishing his guests, but secretly leaving the Shire. Crucially, in a private, almost furtive moment, he entrusts the ring to his young nephew, Frodo Baggins.
Not without some difficulty either. That scene where he almost lunges for it.
Oh, yeah, that's chilling. This act, while seeming like a final, dramatic flourish for his party, is charged with profound significance. It's the absolutely crucial first step in the ring's final journey towards its potential destruction, and it irrevocably links an innocent, unassuming hobbit to the very fate of Middle-earth.
Which raises the question, why does Bilbo leave it?
This immediately raises an important question for us. Why does Bilbo, who has kept the ring for so long, seemingly enjoying its simple convenience and the occasional prank, suddenly feel such an overwhelming need to abandon it and vanish without a trace? What does this tell us about its subtle, yet deeply powerful influence, even on someone who appears relatively untouched by its overt malice?
It hints at an underlying unease, right? A gnawing desire for freedom from its silent, constant presence, a deep-seated longing to stretch himself and find peace away from its insidious pull. He doesn't understand its full power, not consciously, but he certainly feels its growing oppressive weight.
He feels something isn't right.
It's true if we connect this to the bigger picture. The arrival of Gandalf the Grey, that wise and ancient wizard with a keen eye for trouble, is the true, undeniable catalyst that shatters the Shire's carefully cultivated peace.
Right on cue, almost.
He immediately senses something deeply amiss with Bilbo's magic ring. Through his careful investigation, which, as our sources imply, included a harrowing journey to ancient archives and painstaking research.
Not just a quick library visit.
Definitely not. He quickly unearths the ring's true dark origins, confirming it is indeed the One Ring, the ultimate tool of Sauron's power. This realization, conveyed with such gravity by Gandalf, instantly elevates the stakes from a curious, useful trinket to an instrument of ultimate evil, literally carrying the fate of the entire world within its golden band.
And the way Ian McKellen plays that moment, the weight is palpable.
Absolutely. Gandalf's warning to Frodo is delivered with stark, unequivocal urgency. Sauron is not just a distant, forgotten legend. He is returning, stronger than ever, and he will stop at absolutely nothing to reclaim his ring. This immediate existential threat violently shifts Frodo's life in an instant.
Talk about whiplash.
Totally. From the comfortable, predictable rhythms of simple hobbit comforts and the idyllic safety of home, he is plunged into a desperate flight, forced to abandon everything he knows for an unknown, incredibly perilous future.
Consider the immense, almost unbearable weight of this sudden, horrifying responsibility on Frodo, from celebrating a birthday with fireworks and good cheer to becoming the primary target of the most powerful, malevolent entity in Middle-earth.
The transition is jarring, abrupt, and completely life-altering. How does this instant seismic shift from innocence to burden-bearer reflect the very nature of the quest he's about to undertake? It powerfully highlights that heroism isn't always sought out. Sometimes it's thrust upon the most unlikely individuals, demanding an immediate and complete transformation from innocence to a world-weary bearer of unimaginable doom.
His entire world is upended in a single conversation, a clear and chilling sign that the war against Sauron has truly begun, and his little corner of the world is no longer safe from the encroaching shadow.
No longer insulated.
As Frodo sets out, propelled by Gandalf's urgent warnings and a newfound, desperate resolve, he's not entirely alone. He's joined by his steadfast, unwavering friend Samwise Gamgee, a beacon of loyalty.
The true hero, some might argue.
A strong contender, definitely. And soon by his mischievous yet courageous fellow hobbit, Merry and Pippin, whose initial lightheartedness belies their future resilience. The external threat of Sauron and his relentless, terrifying servants grows with every step, making the journey immediately perilous. But what's truly unsettling here, at a point that truly deepens the film's narrative complexity, is the introduction of an internal betrayal, an insidious rot within the very forces of good.
Ah, Saruman.
Yes. While Frodo begins his perilous journey, Gandalf, seeking counsel and strategic alliance, travels to Isengard to consult with Saruman, the revered head of the Wizard's Order, once thought to be the staunchest ally against the rising darkness.
The White Wizard. The leader.
It's a shocking, horrifying revelation for Gandalf, and for us, when he discovers that Saruman has secretly succumbed to Sauron's power, actively allying with the Dark Lord. The film uses that chilling visual transformation for Isengard, turning Saruman's once beautiful gardens into a scarred industrial wasteland, a mirror for his corrupted soul.
A really effective visual metaphor for his fall.
This twist introduces a profound layer of despair and complexity. The enemy is not just an external, monstrous force attacking from without, but also deeply embedded within the very ranks of those expected to fight for good, those who were once beacons of wisdom and strength. It's a stark reminder that even the most powerful and seemingly incorrectable can fall.
Adds a whole new layer of paranoia almost. Who can you trust?
So, what does this internal betrayal mean for the immediate journey, for our Hobbit heroes and the broader forces of light? It amplifies the isolation and overwhelming danger Frodo faces, forcing him to realize that betrayal can come from the most unexpected quarters, from within his own presumed allies. It also signals a broader, more intricate conflict brewing, a war that isn't just about armies clashing, but about the very soul of Middle-earth being corrupted from within.
The foundations of hope are crumbling, making the Hobbit's seemingly impossible task even more desperate. And then, almost immediately, they face the Nazgul.
Yeah, the chase begins almost instantly.
The narrative intensifies dramatically, almost instantly, once the Hobbits leave the relative safety of the Shire, with their relentless pursuit by the Nazgul, known chillingly as the Ringwraiths. These aren't just generic villains. They are Sauron's terrifying undead servants, cloaked in black, their very presence emanating an almost suffocating dread and cold.
The sound design for them is incredible. That screech.
Oh, unforgettable. The film uses their piercing, unearthly screams and their relentless, methodical pursuit to immediately establish the palpable danger and extreme urgency of Frodo's quest. They're not just anonymous hunters, they are direct manifestations of the ring's powerful, malevolent pull, Sauron's direct emissaries, bound eternally to his will and driven by an insatiable spiritual hunger to reclaim the object of their master's power.
They can sense it, feel its presence.
Exactly. Their mere presence is a constant, suffocating reminder of how close the enemy is and how dire the stakes are for Frodo. This raises an important question for us to consider. What does their persistent, unwavering pursuit communicate about Sauron's immense power and his immediate, desperate desire to reclaim the One Ring?
It shows it's his top priority. He needs it back. Now.
It shows the critical, central importance of the ring to his ultimate plans for dominion, to his very return to full power. He's not just vaguely aware, he's actively seeking it with every fiber of his being, and he has powerful, relentless agents dedicated solely to that pursuit. Their spectral, wraith-like nature also emphasizes the spiritual, not just physical threat that the ring represents, hinting at its corrupting influence on life itself, twisting even mighty kings into these terrifying, unliving slaves.
It's a visual and auditory representation of the shadow spreading across the land, reaching even into the tranquil lanes of the Shire, making it clear that nowhere is truly safe, which is where Strider comes in.
Just in the nick of time, too.
Amidst this ever-growing terrifying peril, the hobbits find a crucial, if initially mysterious, ally in the enigmatic ranger known only as Strider. The film builds his mystery beautifully before revealing him to be Aragorn, the long-lost heir to the throne of Gondor, carrying a heavy legacy and a destiny yet to be fully embraced.
Viggo Mortensen's portrayal is just iconic, that quiet intensity.
It really is. His appearance and immediate protective role are absolutely critical. They shift the dynamic of the Hobbit's journey from a helpless, desperate flight into a slightly more guided, albeit still incredibly perilous, survival mission. He offers protection, invaluable knowledge of the wilderness, and a much-needed sense of direction and purpose.
He knows the paths, knows the enemy.
The journey toward the famed elven refuge of Rivendell, the last homely house, is fraught with narrow escapes and escalating danger, creating a palpable sense of tension. And here's where the threat becomes deeply personal and chillingly insidious. During an encounter with the Nazgul at Weathertop,
A truly terrifying scene. Cornered.
Frodo is stabbed with a Morgul blade by a ring wraith. This wound is far more than just physical. The film masterfully portrays it as a spiritual poisoning, an insidious consequence of the ring's influence, and a harrowing proximity to the forces of pure evil. Frodo becomes gravely ill, slowly fading into the terrifying wraith world.
The visual effects there, how his perception shifts.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
The cinematic portrayal is brilliant here. His vision blurs, the world becomes a desolate gray haze, and he begins to hear the whispers of the ringwraiths more clearly, blurring the lines between physical and spiritual decay. Consider the immediate stakes for Frodo's very life, not just his physical well-being, but the insidious threat to his very spirit, and the profoundly symbolic nature of this wound.
It's a wound that never truly heals, in a way.
It's a constant, agonizing reminder of the spiritual battle he is undertaking, the slow corruption that accompanies his burden, and the very real, terrifying possibility of succumbing entirely to the darkness. It's a wound that will linger, a mark of his profound exposure to the deep malice of the enemy, a unique and profound vulnerability he now carries with him.
Absolutely. Building on that, Frodo's dire condition, rapidly deteriorating and falling inexorably under the Nazgul's influence, necessitates a desperate, almost miraculous intervention. Arwen, a powerful and noble elf and Aragorn's beloved, races against time to reach Rivendell, a sequence depicted with incredible urgency and breathtaking visuals.
That chase sequence to the Fort of Brunnen is spectacular.
It is. She employs her people's ancient magic and deep connection to the land to literally save Frodo from the encroaching darkness. Her swift, almost miraculous intervention, including conjuring a flood of water horses to sweep away the pursuing Nazgul.
If you want him, come and claim him. Chills.
Exactly. It highlights the intertwined destinies of different races, men and elves, and the crucial, often unseen, role of elvish power, ancient wisdom, and deep magic in combating the encroaching shadow. It underscores that while humanity struggles, the ancient races still possess potent means of resistance, drawing on powers that predate the current conflict.
It shows there are other powers at work besides Sauron's.
It also deepens our understanding of Aragorn's connections and the broader network of resistance that exists in Middle-earth, showing that he is not just a lone ranger, but part of a larger, ancient lineage that is bound intimately to the fate of the world. What's truly fascinating here is that even with such a powerful, seasoned ally like Aragorn and the Hobbit's own resilience, the threat to Frodo is so severe, so deeply spiritual and insidious, that it requires ancient, profound, elvish magic to counteract the Ringwraith's dark power.
It really emphasizes the unique danger of that Morgul blade.
It reinforces the idea that this is a battle on multiple fronts. Physical, political, and deeply spiritual. The forces of good are not uniform, they're diverse, drawing on different strengths and ancient wells of power, all converging to protect the fragile hope against Sauron's ever-growing might.
Which brings them, finally, to Rivendell. Sanctuary, for a time.
A much-needed respite.
In Rivendell, after Frodo's harrowing rescue and his slow, vital recovery, our sources describe a pivotal gathering. The Council of Elrond. This isn't just a simple meeting to discuss a problem. It's a true Congress, a desperate and solemn assembly of representatives from across all the free peoples of Middle-earth, uniting elves, dwarves, men, and hobbits in one hallowed space.
You see everyone coming together, bringing their histories and their fears.
Figures like the elegant and formidable Legolas the elf, the stalwart and initially gruff Gimli the dwarf, the noble but deeply conflicted Boromir of Gondor, and the wise Gandalf are all present, bringing their distinct perspectives, their ancient grievances, and their fragile hopes to this crucial moment.
And the film emphasizes this diversity, showcasing the long-standing animosity between Gimli and Legolas right from the start, a reflection of millennia of tension between dwarves and elves.
Never trust an elf. It sets up their later arc beautifully. This assembly powerfully underscores the universal threat Sauron poses, a menace so overwhelming that it transcends long-standing racial divides, ancient animosities, and ingrained cultural differences. Every free people, regardless of their past conflicts, now faces a common, existential enemy that threatens to engulf them all.
It forces them to look beyond their own borders, their own quarrels.
So what this convergence truly means for the story is profound. It signifies the absolute dire necessity of unity in the face of overwhelming evil. Despite historical differences or ingrained prejudices among the races, the sheer gravity of the situation demands a collective, unified effort, a recognition that their individual survival is inextricably tied to the survival of all.
It's a powerful, almost miraculous moment of diverse cultures coming together, compelled by a shared catastrophe, acknowledging that their very existence hinges on their ability to set aside old rivalries and work together for a common, desperate cause, even if that unity is fragile.
Very fragile. And the decision they reach is, well, almost unthinkable.
The central decision that finally emerges from this diverse, tense council is truly monumental, almost unfathomable in its audacity and danger. The One Ring must be destroyed.
Not hidden, not used, destroyed.
Exactly. And crucially, it's not enough to simply destroy it anywhere. The film explicitly states, and our sources confirm, that it must be unmade in the very fires of Mount Doom, the fiery chasm within the heart of Mordor where it was forged. This isn't just a practical detail, it emphasizes the unique and almost spiritual connection between the ring and its origin point. That its power is so fundamentally tied to its creation that only the primal forces that brought it into being can truly undo it.
It has to go back where it came from, the heart of the enemy's land.
It's a profound magical law at play, reflecting the deep, almost spiritual link between object and creator. The sheer audacity and desperation of this plan are what's truly fascinating. Taking the most dangerous, most powerful artifact in the world, the very instrument of Sauron's power, back to the heart of the enemy's territory, to the very place where he is regaining his strength and where his all-seeing eye constantly watches.
It's a suicide mission, essentially.
It's an almost hopelessly improbable undertaking. This raises a crucial question about the nature of true evil in this world. What does it reveal about the fundamental nature of Sauron's malevolence, that it is so deeply rooted, so intrinsically tied to its source, that it can only be unmade where it was born?
It suggests that evil here is not merely an act or a choice, but an indelible essence, a fundamental force that can only be erased by confronting its very genesis, forcing the heroes to delve into the very heart of darkness itself to find their salvation.
A terrifying prospect.
And it's against all odds, in a room filled with mighty elves, wise wizards, brave men, and gruff dwarves, each with their own weighty claims and arguments. Boromir's plea to use it is particularly potent.
Understandable from his perspective, the desperation of Gondor.
But is the seemingly weakest and most unassuming member, Frodo Baggins, a hobbit of modest stature and peaceful inclinations, who, quietly, yet resolutely, volunteers for this almost suicidal task. "I will take the ring," he says, "though I do not know the way."
Such a powerful moment. The quiet courage.
His quiet courage in that moment is truly profound, a testament to the unexpected heroism that can arise from the most unlikely sources. To aid him, a fellowship of 9 is formed, mirroring the 9 ring wraiths who pursue the ring, a direct symbol of hope against despair. Frodo, the ring-bearer, his loyal and unwavering companion Sam.
Always by his side.
The mischievous but increasingly brave Merry and Pippin, the destined King Aragorn wrestling with his heritage, the swift Legolas the elf, a master archer, the sturdy Gimli the dwarf, a fierce warrior, the valiant but deeply flawed Boromir carrying the burden of his people, and the wise Gandalf the guide and protector.
9 companions to stand against the 9 riders. Symbolism matters.
Each member brings a unique skill set, distinct perspective, and represents a different facet of Middle-earth's diverse peoples and strengths. What's truly remarkable here is how this group of 9, initially comprised of distinct peoples with their own long histories, prejudices, and abilities, is now bound by a single terrifying purpose: to destroy the One Ring.
This is the very heart of the Fellowship, a unity forged not by pre-existing alliance or shared lineage, but out of dire necessity and a shared, desperate hope for survival. Their individual strengths, weaknesses, and destinies are now inextricably linked to this impossible quest.
It's a fragile, yet incredibly powerful union of disparate individuals, united against an overwhelming darkness, embarking on a journey that will test their resolve, their loyalty, and their very souls to their breaking point. And the tests come almost immediately.
Oh yes, The journey starts, and the challenges are immense, almost instantly putting their newfound unity to the ultimate test. Their very first attempt to cross the imposing Misty Mountains, a natural fortress designed to deter passage, is brutally thwarted by a savage blizzard.
That scene on Treacherous, the mountain itself feels hostile. Saruman's influence, nature's indifference.
Possibly both. The film conveys this with sweeping, treacherous visuals and bone-chilling sound design, highlighting nature's indifference and perhaps even the direct interference of dark, malevolent forces. This forces them to seek refuge, leading them into the ancient, dark, and notoriously dangerous mines of Moria.
Gandalf's reluctance is palpable.
Ah.
There are older and fouler things than orcs in the deep places of the world.
Exactly. If we connect this to the bigger picture, Moria is far more than just a detour, a mere alternative route. It's a tomb, a site of immense tragedy, and a chilling testament to Sauron's spreading influence and destructive power.
Finding Belin's tomb, that's a heavy moment.
Inside, they discover a horrifying truth. The once magnificent dwarven kingdom of Moria, known for its deep halls and glittering treasures, has been utterly slaughtered. The remnants of its people lie broken, killed by orcs, and, even more terrifyingly, by a creature of ancient, primeval malice called the Balrog, a powerful demon of fire and shadow, awakened from its eons-long slumber in the deeps.
That reveal, the Balrog, is just breathtaking cinema.
These aren't just monsters. They are corrupted Mare, spirits akin to the wizards themselves, remnants of an even older, darker age, emphasizing the deep, foundational evil the Fellowship confronts. This devastating discovery reveals the immense destructive power already unleashed by Sauron's malevolent influence, that his shadow reaches even into places once thought unconquerable.
This raises an important question. What does the fall of such a magnificent, resilient dwarven kingdom, known for its strength, stubbornness, and formidable defenses, do these creatures tell us about the overwhelming forces the Fellowship is up against?
It's not just a matter of numbers, it's about a spreading blight, a corruption that can overwhelm even the mightiest civilizations, foreshadowing the truly apocalyptic scale of the war to come and the sheer, almost impossible nature of their task. It emphasizes that this is a journey through a world already deeply scarred and infiltrated by the enemy's power.
And it leads directly to one of the most iconic, heartbreaking moments.
The absolute climax of their perilous journey through Moria is undoubtedly one of the most dramatic and heartbreaking moments in the entire film, etched into the memories of viewers. The battle on the bridge of Khazad-dûm.
Gandalf versus the Balrog. An epic confrontation.
Here, Gandalf, the wise and powerful wizard who has been the guiding light, the primary protector, and the strategic mind of the Fellowship, faces the monstrous Balrog alone. The visual effects and sound design during this confrontation are breathtaking, conveying the immense power of both combatants. In an act of immense, profound self-sacrifice, he consciously chooses to hold the line, engaging the demon in a seemingly unwinnable fight, shouting the iconic line, "You shall not pass."
It gives me goosebumps.
He falls into the chasm, sacrificing himself so that the others, particularly the ring-bearer, can escape to continue their vital quest. So what does this truly mean for the Fellowship, for their morale, and their chances of success? It's a devastating, almost crippling loss of their guide, their spiritual leader, and undeniably one of the most powerful and knowledgeable members of their company.
The grief is just raw, especially Frodo's.
His fall underscores the immense personal cost of this quest, the brutal sacrifices that will be demanded for the greater good, and the grim reality that even the strongest and wisest can fall. Think about the profound grief, the raw despair, and the sheer terror that washes over the group as they flee Moria, now utterly without their primary protector, their beacon of hope.
It forces Aragorn to step up, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Into that leadership role.
It absolutely does. It forces them, in a crucial developmental moment, to rely on each other in new, unprecedented ways, to step up and find strengths within themselves they didn't know they possessed. His sacrifice is not just a moment of profound loss, but a crucible, forcing the remaining members to truly internalize the gravity of their mission and embrace their individual roles, propelling them forward with a newfound, albeit painful, resolve.
They emerge into the light, but they're changed. Broken, in a way.
Following the devastating loss of Gandalf, the Fellowship, reeling from grief, shock, and the unspeakable horrors of Moria, finds a temporary, ethereal sanctuary in the ancient, enchanted forest of Lothlorien.
A complete change of pace and scenery, almost dreamlike.
This ancient, mystical realm, depicted with such breathtaking beauty and a sense of otherworldliness, is ruled by the wise and powerful Lady Galadriel and Lord Celeborn. It provides a much-needed moment of respite, healing, and profound solace, both physical and spiritual, after the trauma they endured. It's a place where time seems to slow, offering a brief, fragile reprieve from the relentless pursuit of shadow.
But even there's an undercurrent of danger, of watchfulness.
True. What's truly fascinating here is Galadriel's pivotal role. She offers each member of the Fellowship not just hospitality, but also personalized gifts and profound insights, seemingly peering into their very souls, reflecting their deepest desires and fears.
The Mirror of Galadriel scene is so unnerving.
It is, but her most crucial, most poignant interaction is with Frodo. She shows him visions of what could be, of the Shire in ruin, and warns him directly and unequivocally of the ring's insidious power to corrupt even the purest hearts, emphasizing its ability to prey on deepest desires and noblest intentions.
And then he offers it to her.
Yes. And then, in a moment of profound, almost agonizing resistance, she refuses to take the ring when Frodo, overwhelmed by its burden, offers it to her. The film portrays her transformation into a towering, terrifying figure of power. All shall love me and despair. And then her rejection of it with incredible nuance, demonstrating her immense wisdom and strength of will.
That moment shows just how potent the ring's lure is, even for her.
Absolutely. This scene powerfully raises an important question. If even someone as ancient, wise, and powerful as Galadriel, one of the eldest and most formidable beings in Middle-earth, feels the immense temptation and recognizes the catastrophic potential for corruption within herself were she to wield it, what true hope is there for Frodo, a mere simple hobbit?
It makes his burden seem even heavier.
Her refusal isn't a sign of weakness, but of profound strength and self-awareness, and it powerfully highlights the ring's universal, relentless, and all-consuming corrupting influence on all who encounter it, regardless of their power, moral standing, or ancient lineage. It solidifies the idea that the ring is not meant to be used by anyone, only destroyed.
Which leads them out of Lorien, back onto the river, and towards the breaking point.
Indeed. And as the Fellowship continues its journey by river, moving closer to the heart of the conflict and the daunting task ahead, the insidious, corrupting power of the One Ring begins its work, fracturing them from within.
Here's where it gets really interesting, the internal conflict.
It's a heartbreaking internal struggle that becomes increasingly evident and dangerous. The external threats are constant, but now the most insidious danger comes from within the group itself, particularly agonizing in the noble Boromir.
Sean Bean plays that conflict so well, you feel for him, even as he falters.
You do. Boromir, a valiant warrior from Gondor, driven by a fierce, admirable desire to protect his people from Sauron's encroaching darkness, succumbs to the ring's dark whispering. He believes he can wield it as a weapon against the enemy, a noble intention twisted by the ring's malice. The film depicts his internal torment, his growing obsession, culminating in a desperate moment where he tries to take the ring by force from Frodo at Amon Hen.
That scene is so tense. Frodo's terror is real.
This is a crucial, heartbreaking turning point, demonstrating the ring's horrifying ability to prey on even the purest, most selfless intentions, twisting them into selfish desires, and tragically turning friend against friend. It's the direct, painful manifestation of the theme of temptation and the devastating cost of power, even when sought for righteous ends.
And it forces Frodo's hand. He realizes he can't risk the others.
Frodo's desperate escape from Boromir's grasp, filled with fear and disillusionment, and his subsequent agonizing decision to continue the quest alone, believing he must bear the burden without further endangering his friends, is a moment of profound personal resolve. But then, in a beautiful counterpoint to the ring's divisiveness, Samwise Gamgee, his loyal, unwavering companion, emerges,
Wading into the water after him. I'm going with you.
insisting on accompanying him, displaying a true, deep bond of unwavering loyalty. This moment powerfully underscores that even when the Grand Fellowship crumbles, the power of individual friendship and commitment can endure and even strengthen.
Sam won't let him go alone. It's foundational.
Simultaneously with the internal fracturing caused by the ring's insidious influence, the external threat reemerges with brutal, devastating force, ensuring the Fellowship's breaking. The group is ambushed by a formidable, relentless force of Uruk-hai.
Saruman's fighting Uruk-hai, bred for war.
A new, stronger, and crueler breed of orcs, twisted and bred by Saruman in his corrupted pits beneath Orthanc. The film portrays this battle with visceral action and a palpable sense of desperation, truly showing the overwhelming odds the Fellowship faces. This dual assault, the internal temptation embodied by Boromir's struggle and the devastating external violence of the Uruk-hai, leads directly to the permanent breaking of the Fellowship.
It all comes crashing down at once.
In the ensuing chaos and violence, Boromir, despite his earlier lapse of judgment and his succumbing to the ring's temptation, fights bravely and heroically to protect the vulnerable Merry and Pippin. He provides a crucial distraction, a shield, battling against overwhelming odds with incredible ferocity.
His last stand is incredible, taking arrow after arrow.
He redeems his earlier mistake, his momentary fall, through this ultimate act of sacrifice, fighting to his last breath, becoming mortally wounded in a valiant last stand, pierced by Uruk-hai arrows. What's truly fascinating here is the complex, nuanced portrayal of Boromir, a character deeply flawed by the ring's insidious temptation, a tragic figure caught between his people's desperate needs and the ring's corrupting pull, but ultimately choosing a path of selfless courage and profound redemption in his final moments.
His final words to Aragorn, "I would have followed you, my brother, my captain, my king." Powerful redemption.
It truly emphasizes the theme of sacrifice not just as a noble act, but as a path to atonement and profound meaning. His death marks a poignant turning point, illustrating the heavy personal cost of the war against darkness and the devastating reality of the conflict that has now come directly to the Fellowship.
And in the chaos of the battle, adding another layer of urgency and heartbreak to the tragedy. Merry and Pippin are captured by the relentless Uruk-hai, dragged off into the encroaching shadow, their fate unknown.
Just snatched away. More fragmentation.
So what does this devastating series of events truly mean for the future of the quest, for the survival of Middle-earth, and for the once unified Fellowship? The Fellowship, once a singular, unified group of 9 bound by a common purpose, is now decisively broken, shattered into 3 distinct perilous paths, each heading into an unknown and incredibly dangerous future.
The end of the first chapter, quite literally.
First, there are Frodo and Sam, setting out alone toward Mordor, committed to the seemingly impossible, lonely task of destroying the ring in the fires of Mount Doom. This path highlights the profound themes of unwavering friendship, desperate hope, and immense perseverance in the face of overwhelming odds, a testament to the power of 2 ordinary individuals facing an extraordinary burden.
Their journey is one of solitary courage, relying on nothing but each other. It becomes much more intimate.
Second, there are Aragorn, Legolas, and Gimli, choosing to pursue the Uruk-hai to rescue their captured hobbit friends, a testament to their loyalty and the bonds forged in the Fellowship. Let's hunt some orc.
A classic line. This path emphasizes unwavering loyalty, heroic action, and the continuation of the broader fight against darkness, a demonstration that even when the central quest must go on, the bonds of friendship and the call to justice remain paramount. The 3 hunters.
The film ends with these 3 separate, yet intimately interconnected quests beginning, each embarking on its own fraught journey, leaving the listener with a sense of both profound loss for what was and renewed, albeit divided, determination for what must be.
It's a powerful and poignant conclusion, a cliffhanger that propels the story forward into a fragmented yet focused future, setting the stage for everything that follows in the 2 towers.
A perfect, if painful, ending to the first part.
When we connect this all to the bigger picture, the Fellowship of the Ring isn't simply an adventure story about good versus evil, though it is certainly that. It's a masterclass in exploring profound human and hobbit, elf, and dwarf themes that resonate deeply across any culture or time.
The themes are just so rich, so layered.
We've witnessed the overwhelming, pervasive nature of temptation through the ring's insidious influence on figures like Boromir, driving him to an almost desperate attempt to seize it, believing he could wield it for good. And we've seen its chilling effect even on Galadriel, who, despite her ancient wisdom and immense power, felt its immense corrupting potential, demonstrating its insidious power to corrupt even the noblest intentions and strongest wills.
These moments underscore that the ring doesn't just tempt. It psychologically manipulates, preying on inherent goodness and twisting it to its own dark ends. It finds your weakness.
Exactly. We've also witnessed immense sacrifice. From Gandalf's heroic, self-sacrificing stand against the Balrog on the bridge of Khazad-dûm, a conscious, agonizing choice to fall so others might live and the quest continue.
A leader's sacrifice.
To Boromir's final, valiant act of redemption, giving his life to protect the innocent hobbits he had earlier threatened. These moments underscore the high personal cost of fighting for what is right, demonstrating that true heroism often comes with ultimate selflessness.
And through it all, the enduring, unwavering power of friendship shines as a beacon of hope, particularly evident in the unbreakable loyalty of Sam to Frodo.
Sam's refusal to abandon his friend, even as Frodo chooses to face the ultimate evil alone, proves that even in the face of unimaginable darkness and overwhelming despair, true companionship and steadfast devotion can sustain hope and provide the strength to continue.
I made a promise, Mr. Frodo. A promise. Don't you leave him, Samwise Gamgee. And I don't mean to. Guess me every time.
It's the heart of it, really. These themes are intricately woven throughout every thread of the narrative, giving it a timeless resonance that continues to captivate audiences around the world.
So what does this all mean for you, the listener, as you reflect on this journey? This deep dive into the foundational first part of The Lord of the Rings leaves us with a truly powerful and provocative thought. In a world where power can corrupt absolutely, where even the wisest can fall, and where challenges seem utterly insurmountable,
Like staring up at Mount Doom itself.
what small, seemingly insignificant acts of courage or unwavering loyalty might actually be the most pivotal in changing the course of events? Consider how even when a grand, unified fellowship breaks apart, shattered by external forces and internal pressures, the individual commitments and the smaller, more focused group alliances can, paradoxically, become even stronger and more resolute.
Yeah, the focus sharpens, maybe. Less diffusion of responsibility.
Exactly. Each fragment, each individual path then serves a vital, specific part in the larger war against darkness. It's a profound testament to unity and purpose, even when circumstances force division, reminding us that sometimes the greatest strength is found not in a single mighty force, but in the enduring courage and loyalty of many, each playing their part in a fragmented yet ultimately cohesive fight for survival.
A really powerful message to end on. Even divided, they endure.